Apparently Uber doesn't think they're cheap enough. And guess who they're going to take it out on? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, Mark here from uberhints.com. According to the latest news, Uber thinks they're charging too much money. I wonder how they intend to compensate for that. Well, what am I talking about? Here's a story that has just come across the wire, and the particular headline I'm reading right now says Uber is experimenting with letting riders wait longer in exchange for cheaper fares. A cheaper fare. I wonder how they're going to make that up. Well, let's go on and look at the story. Good things come to those who wait for their Uber. Oh, isn't that darling? The ride-hailing company has started testing a new feature that gives riders the option to trade a shorter ride for a cheaper fare. Prices are lower at $1,700, Uber recently advised an Uber employee who requested a ride in Berkeley, and he tweeted, or she tweeted a screenshot of the feature. Now, what I wonder about right away, when they do this, is upfront pricing the only thing that's affected? Are we going to get the same rate? Well, let's see where this is going. The image showed the Uber employee that he could request a ride now, 4:56 local time, for $10.18, or wait until 5 p.m. and pay $8.15, about 25% less. If you're okay leaving later, we'll request your ride at $1,700 for a lower price. I don't know, something is just weird about this. I can't help to think that Uber is somehow going to push that off on us. Now, I understand that with upfront pricing, they still give us the same mileage per minute, all of that. I don't know, something, it just sets off my meter, thinking something's wrong. I haven't figured out what it is. Maybe you have an idea down below, but it just doesn't set well with me. The tweet was deleted shortly after, it says here. The option to wait longer in exchange for a cheaper ride is being tested among all Uber employees in San Francisco and Los Angeles. Now, this next quote makes me wonder if Uber is a little confused as to why people take rideshare. Affordability is a top reason riders choose shared rides, and we're internally experimenting with a way to save money in exchange for a later pickup. That is an Uber spokesperson. Do you think that's why people ride with Uber? Yeah, granted, if it's a trade-off between a $45 taxi ride and a $25 Uber ride, I'd agree with you. If that's the case, if that's really the case, why do they suggest we give out candy? We give out water. We have charging cords. We do this, we do that, we do the other thing. Why do we have to have a clean car? Why do they even have rating? If all they're concerned about is a cheap ride, I could have the ugliest, filthiest piece of garbage chugging along down the highway, but if it gets people from point A to point B cheaper, that should be all that matters. Uber, are you completely insane? I don't see how they're missing the hypocrisy of that statement. Let's go on. Uber constantly varies its prices, a system known as dynamic pricing. Much like timing the market, attempting to book an Uber at the lowest price can be an ill-fated gamble. Waiting a couple minutes before booking can lead to a price that is either dramatically higher or lower. The exact science behind Uber's fare has also become more obscure since summer 2016, when the company quietly switched from the old model, where it flagged surge pricing to users, to one in which it quoted them the upfront pricing. And at that time, what also happened? They also went away from the model where we got 75% and they took 25%, right? Now, they still go by miles and minutes. That's true. But if you look at what you get from a ride, you're seeing that sometimes we're only getting 40-45% of the total fare. That's why I wonder about what they're doing here. By making rides cheaper, how can they keep our rates our fees the same as drivers, but lower the cost of the ride. That's what concerns me. The company has said fluctuations in dynamic prices reflect real-time changes in rider demand, driver availability, and other variable conditions such as traffic. We have to make driving for Uber more attractive because the alternatives are becoming more attractive, CEO Devious Dara said at a technology conference outside Los Angeles in late May. So what are they doing? What are you doing, Devious Mr. D? You are not doing jack squat. There's one thing you need to do: pay us more money. Don't say you're going to make things better by putting a fancy little tweak in the app. But wary of alienating passengers with higher prices, here we go. This is the real upshot, isn't it? Uber also is working on several ultra cheap ride options. Ultra cheap. Who suffers whenever they get an ultra cheap ride option? Remember Uber Pool? Uber has poured tons of money into pool discounts in an effort to get more people to share the rides. And we know what happened there, right? Uber is taking it on the chin. Uber is subsidizing those rides. It is artificially priced. Offering riders longer wait times in exchange for cheaper fares is another way Uber could keep prices low for the most price-sensitive customers. It's also a strategy that makes a lot of sense. To whom? Now it goes back to Tricky Travis. Uber co-founder and former CEO Tricky Travis Kalanick used to talk about how the point of surge pricing was to keep Uber reliable. Higher prices are required in order to keep cars on the road and keep them on the road during the busiest times, he wrote on Facebook in December of 2013. This maximizes the number of trips and minimizes the number of people stranded. The implicit assumption was that Uber customers wanted a ride as fast as they could get one, whatever it might cost. The system being tested now, on the other hand, acknowledges a different kind of rider, someone for whom saving a little time is less valuable than saving a little money. What are we eventually going to be seeing in our back seats? There is something to keeping the price at a certain level. Right? I don't know how to say this sensitively, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to be blunt. It keeps out the riffraff. Someone once asked Prince, remember Prince, that former performer, entertainer, once known as a symbol, but now known as Prince, but who's dead because his lifestyle got way out of control, that guy? Someone once asked him, you're world famous, why do you continue to live in Minnesota? And he said, because the cold weather keeps the bad people away. Well, you know what? Slightly higher prices kind of keep the riffraff out of the back seat of my car, too. If all they're going for is lower prices, and yet they want the cleanest cars, the newest cars, the most polite drivers, the candy, the charging cords, the water, they can't have it both ways. If you want the lowest prices, at some point, you're going to start getting the lowest level of service. What do you think? Am I full of dirt, or is there something to this? What is Uber thinking by trying to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper? Let me know down below. As always, I appreciate it when you like the videos, when you share the videos, and if you haven't already, when you subscribe. I'm Mark with UberHints.com.